What we do here is go back.
Last video in this little venture that I'm calling Cosplay Cop. Now, most of you in the audience are likely aware of the company No Limit Designs. For those of you who aren't, they're a company that specialises in making replica costumes and props from various different movies, comic books, etc. Now, they've been getting a lot of attention online at the moment for their shady business practices and the fact that they're giving some really special attention to their fan base online. For those of you who are in the dark about this, let me show you what I'm talking about.
It's the return of the... Oh, wait, no, wait, you're kidding. He didn't just say what I think he did he? And Dr. Dre said, nothing, you idiots, Dr. Dre's dead.
I think it's important that you all understand the No Limit Designs brand. And so if you go onto their website, which I'm not going to feature in this video for fear of striking the video for featuring it, you'll see like a lot of pages have phrases like, we create the highest quality custom costumes, and terms like movie grade thrown around a lot. And I just think it's important that you understand that that's the kind of quality that they're going for here. If you're on Instagram, then you've probably seen a lot of complaints about No Limit Designs' late delivery times or their wrong product deliveries, and this seems to be a problem they've faced a lot. Instagram user SpideyBX told me that he ordered a homecoming face shell, and he waited close to 2 months for the product to arrive, and when it did, it was in the wrong size compared to what he'd ordered. Now, I'm not going to really criticise that because it's a simple mistake that you could make. What I am going to criticise is the fact that they told him repeatedly that they had the wrong size after he ordered it. Like, you're not going to put something up for sale unless you have it for sale. Even if your products are made to order, don't list something as for sale if you're not prepared to make it. A lot of these cases are largely the same, so I'm not going to go through each and every one that I've been told about, but there is one more that I'd like to feature, and if you're on Instagram, you probably know which one it's going to be. It's the case regarding Lucy Lawless cosplay. Now, the reason I've chosen to talk about this case in particular is because I think it really shows No Limit Designs at just the height of their fuckery. To give you a quick rundown of what happened, Lucy ordered a Gwenom suit and a Venom face shell, and she had a similar situation to SpideyBX with the face shell, getting a bit of a back and forth, and it arrived late and eventually broken. But I don't know how much of that is on the postal service and how much is on No Limit Designs, so I'm not going to criticise that. The suit, however, is a different story. The suit arrived relatively on time, but she'd ordered it with attached soles, and when it arrived there were no soles. I mean, it's a simple fuck up, and even big companies like No Limit Designs could make it. The problem is it wasn't a fuck up. When she asked why there were no soles, she got this response. Yeah, they didn't include the soles because they thought that as a woman, she would want to spend less than her male counterparts. Like, hello, she ordered the soles. She's paid for the soles, you fucking dumbasses, just do your jobs, Jesus Christ. Right now you'll see a lot of buzz about the Amazing Spider Lab, who got his comment removed from No Limit Designs' recent post about their Amazing Spider-Man 2 face shell. Now, I'm going to show you the comment and I'll just let you read it, so you can pause the video if you have to, but here's the comment. Now, in my opinion, this comment was completely fair, it's completely valid. He only makes one minor criticism of the face shell, and aside from that it's all really positive. Regardless, No Limit Designs decided to delete his comment, and before deleting it, they replied to it with this. They say here that they know that they've made a 100% accurate face shell. Now that is amazing because nobody else seems to agree with this opinion. You've got this guy and this guy and this guy all saying there are better face shells out there, that it's not 100% accurate. Now there's no one really to say who's completely right in this situation, but the point is that deleting a comment was a dick move. And it would have been fine if that's where the situation ended, but instead it got to this point where Amazing Spider Lab was saying his face shell was more accurate, and No Limit Designs removed that comment for saying, you know, it's advertising on their post, and that's completely fair on their part. They can do whatever they like, they own the account. And again, it didn't stop. That should have been where it rested, but instead, on their story on Instagram, No Limit Designs decided to post this, saying they're being trolled by bedroom prop makers who have no experience and that they need to name and shame them, and then posting a picture of Amazing Spider Lab's account. That's not okay. That is really, really a dick move. Now, there's a couple of gripes I have with a comment they made. The first bit is saying they're being trolled. Leaving one comment, leaving a slightly negative opinion is not trolling. Going after somebody repeatedly and saying, you know, really negative shit about their brand or just about them in person, that is trolling. What Amazing Spider Lab did, that's not. He was just having a fair, honest criticism, and they should learn to accept that. The other part that I have a gripe with is saying bedroom prop makers as if it's some kind of insult. I mean, you've got comments like this saying that No Limit Designs are all about spreading the love, but if they really were, then they'd understand that making props isn't about where you make it. It's not about having a big studio or a small bedroom. It's just about getting out there and learning and making something for yourself. But just to prove that bedroom prop makers really do have something to offer, I'm going to show you a couple of works I've found around Instagram and show you that really you can make anything anywhere and it can be really good. You've got these works by Iron Wolf Props, who is a spectacular prop maker on Instagram. You've got this by M.A.Man.Z, which I think honestly is really good. You've got that J Guy Cosplays coming out with consistently good stuff made in his bedroom. You've got J Topping 84 who made these. It's brilliant. It's really amazing what people are doing, but it's still more. There's JTS Cosplay, Armoured Brownies, and of course Amazing Spider Lab, who started all of this and is making just the most spectacular Spider-Man costumes in his bedroom. So really what I'm saying is that this insult of bedroom prop makers, it's really not an insult at all. Now what followed this situation was an onslaught of blocking by No Limit Designs. They originally blocked Amazing Spider Lab for his comment, but then some people came out in their comment section in defense of Amazing Spider Lab, saying that blocking him was wrong and that calling him out was also wrong. And so those people got blocked. And a few days on, it's kind of snowballed into this big thing where accounts of people who follow people that they've blocked have been blocked just as a kind of a preventative measure. And they even restricted their comments on their posts. I don't know if that's going to be permanent or if they're going to return, but that is a thing that's happened and I think it's noteworthy. And this is a pretty common practice. While researching this video, a lot of people reached out to me telling me all the different reasons that they've been blocked, or just that they've been blocked for no reason. And I'm not going to go through each and every person, but here's a little scrolling list on the screen, or just a pop-up list. I don't know what I'll be fucking bothered to do in editing. But here's some of the people you should go and support because they have been kind of victimised by No Limit Designs. Now, it's interesting to think that this isn't even the worst thing that they've done. In DMs, the kind of, you know, where you don't see, No Limit Designs account has been quite abusive towards people that have reached out to them. Especially this one sticks with me, is here where they said that this guy is built like spaghetti. That's not a good thing to do. This is a brand name insulting just a small guy on the internet and they're body shaming him. That is a really harmful thing that you can do to a person and it can leave a permanent imprint on that person's brain and really fuck them up for the rest of their lives. And I think that really, as a big company, No Limit Design should be more responsible and should definitely be held accountable for things like this that they say, especially when this week they're posting things like this, saying that they are all about spreading the love. But what if I told you this rabbit hole goes even deeper? What if I told you there was a scummier layer to No Limit Designs that's hidden even beneath the DMs? There are a few instances where No Limit Designs have struck up deals with other creators and makers and even regular people that are just selling them products, and they haven't really gone the way that they should have. While I've been researching this video, I found that a lot of people aren't aware of this, and so I'm just going to go through a couple of cases that have happened, just so you kind of get what's gone on. There's an American company known as Custom Costumes, who specialise in doing kind of Zentai stuff similar to No Limit Designs. And they struck up a deal where they said that they'd send their Superman costumes to the UK for No Limit Designs to sell, as long as they give them credit and I believe a portion of the funds that they made from it. But it didn't really go the way it should have, and that's because they took the Superman suits. No Limit Designs sold the Superman suits, but they didn't sell them and give credit to Custom Costumes. And so the ties were cut there, and I'm not really entirely sure what happened after that. But if there are any updates, I'll leave them in the description below. You might think I skipped over that last section quite quickly, and it's because I really want to talk about animated costumes. Now, in this little section I won't be able to display any screenshots or evidence like I have done for a lot of the videos so far, and that's because this case might end up in a courtroom, and I don't want to jeopardise anything by displaying any information publicly which might be relied on in court later. But with that out of the way, if you head to Animated Costumes Instagram, which is linked in the description, along with all the Instagrams I've mentioned in this video, then you'll look at his face shells and you'll notice they're very similar to No Limit Designs. Except they're not very similar, they're actually the exact same. No Limit Designs used to be a customer of Animated Costumes, but then they started printing his designs themselves and selling them for upwards of £200 each. And really, that's not fair. It doesn't take a genius to realise that that's not legal, and it's not really that good of a move. They called him out and said that he was a scammer and that he was a fraud. And really, we know from the fact that he has business transactions with them, showing that they've bought his shells, that they're really at fault here. But that segues nicely into this next little section, which I'm going to call
Slim Shady, yes, I'm the real Shady. You other Slim Shadys are just imitating. So won't the real Slim Shady please stand up? Please stand up. Please stand up.
Now, originally this was going to be a big crux of my video, and I was going to go through every single case one by one and evaluate what has been done wrong to customers. But I realised that's going to take a long time to do, and I'm really cautious about the runtime of this video. So I'm going to leave some links in the description so that you guys can check out what I mean for yourselves, and if you've been affected by any of these problems, then you can look into it. But to give you a quick rundown of the legality issues that No Limits face, then you've got things like late deliveries. If a delivery takes over 30 days by a UK regulation, that is, it's an offence. If you get delivered the wrong product, like a face shell in the wrong size that you didn't order, that is an offence. And the kind of messages they send online, like this spaghetti message that I referenced earlier, those are actually a breach of UK HR regulations, and they can be considered bullying by human resources. Now, you might think, it's really useful to know all of this, but what exactly are you going to do with it? Well, if you are in the UK, then you can go to your local trading regulations office and you can talk to them. And if you're outside the UK, you can email the UK Trading Regulations Office, which I'll leave a link to in the description, and you can report No Limit Designs to make sure that they're held accountable for what they've done. With that out of the way, let's move on. Up until this point in the video, I've been really critical of No Limit Designs, and I don't think that's fair unless we kind of evaluate what work they do and what quality it is. Eagle-eyed viewers might have spotted me wearing these web shooters in the opening of the video, and these are actually No Limit Designs homecoming web shooters, which I bought from them earlier in the year, and I thought it'd be fun to do a little product review to see how they are. Okay, so what we have here is a pair of No Limit Designs Spider-Man homecoming web shooters. As I'm sure you can see, they're extremely attractive props, and I personally think they really embody the spirit of Spider-Man, as well as the designs of Tony Stark. They come with this elastic band with an attached magnet that you use to put around your hand, and then under your Spider-Man costume, you can attach the trigger to your hand. It's quite a nifty little system, but not a unique one, and so it doesn't really bear much thinking about. The web shooters themselves are all cast rubber, aside from the magnets and this 3D printed web cartridge in the middle. They actually are quite easy to put on, with just a simple strap system that goes around your wrist like so. The props themselves are quite thin, and the body is really flexible and easy to put around you. The No Limit Designs advertising campaign stressed that you could get this trigger to form perfectly to your wrist, and while that isn't 100% true, it is definitely a nice fit to most people's wrist, and it bends very easily and naturally. The body isn't exactly a one-for-one replica of what's in the movie, which is a bit odd from No Limit Designs, as they often claim that they have the most accurate props and costumes out there, but nonetheless it's a very unique and very spectacular design. It really is beautiful. Now, the only real gripe I have with this is that the magnets are quite thick, and so when you put them under your suit you end up with a couple of millimeters of giveaway between your actual palm and the trigger. Honestly, the magnets are quite strong and sturdy, and so I think they could have used thinner magnets to make this work just as well and look a little bit more screen accurate. Looking at the underside of the props though, you can see that it's a different story. My prop specifically came with this little bit of attached paper. Now this is glued onto the web shooter, and it's right next to this really jagged cut right here. There's a lot of little scratch marks which I'm sure you can pick up on the camera, and really they're not entirely perfect on the underside. You can also see that the magnet has slipped loose. One of my elastic bands that goes around your hand has snapped, but it wasn't like that when it arrived. I think the reason for this is that they attach them together with just glue instead of stitching them, and that causes them to be quite weak, and so you've got to be careful when you take these off. Looking at the underside of the other shooter, we can see that the Velcro is already quite loose, with that also being glued on. And there's just, again, lots of little scratches and imperfections, as well as this rather loose gluing, where you can see this has a bit of an overhang, and you can kind of peel it up. Honestly, I would expect better from No Limit Designs, given that these cost £150 normally before post. There's also some inconsistency with the thickness, which they do mention it might be a problem on their website, and you can see that these aren't always the exact same thickness, as well as the fact that the Velcro attachment areas aren't exactly cut entirely the same every single time, with them being varying widths. All in all though, they are a decent looking prop, and I think they really embody the makeup. The props give off a really nice, sleek and glossy look, which is presentable and you really can trust, but then you look at the underside and it's ugly, imperfect, and full of all these little problems that just need to be wiped out. While we're on the subject of symbolism and fuck-ups, I'd like to draw your attention to this story that No Limit Designs posted last year. It's of some rubber artwork that they did where they wrote the word Venom, but it's been on screen long enough now that a lot of you will have probably noticed that it's spelled wrong. It actually says Venom, with 2 M's. I mean, it's a simple fuck-up, right? It's easily forgivable, people spell things wrong all the time. But they couldn't just leave it at that they'd made a fuck-up, because that's not the No Limit Designs way. They are 100% perfect 100% of the time. And so they tried to reprimand it with this shit. This is a post that followed the story, and they kind of put in the description of the post this whole, haha, 10 points if you see it, kind of attitude, and that's horse crap. You know, you made a mistake, you made a fuck-up, that's fine. That's human, that's natural. Just own it, just live with it, or just don't bring it up again. What you don't do is pretend that you're 100% perfect and that you spelled it wrong on purpose. Nobody puts time into making an artwork just to have this little, haha, it's spelled wrong joke at the end. You put your time and your effort into this and it went wrong. You can admit that you do that and it makes you more human as a company if you do. Seriously. The video is coming towards an end now, and I want to say that I am expecting a response from No Limit Designs. And if they don't give a response, then I suppose we'll all just accept that they agree with everything we've said here and they own up to what they've done. But just in case they haven't, I'd like to cover some predicted responses it might give out.
Shady, yes, I'm the real shady. All you want is Slim Shady's adjustable shady. So want the real Slim Shady, please stand up. Please stand up. Please stand up.
Now when I say I want a response to this video, I don't mean a response to this video. What I don't want them saying is, you shouldn't listen to this guy, because it's just a parody of items content. He's got no originality. I don't want them saying, oh, this guy must be ashamed of himself because he hides his face away. Because, I mean, for one, that's not true. I just hide it for my own personal privacy reasons. I have no shame in my face, I'm perfectly comfortable with how I look. And they might also say, because they're such big fans of body shaming, oh, this guy's fat, why should we listen to him? They might try and criticise me. But that's not what we want to hear. We want to hear a response to the points that I've raised. We want to hear a response to your late delivery times, your abuse of your customers. We want to hear a response to the shitty things you've done to other companies and where you've stolen designs. That's what we want to hear. Now obviously there are a few routes more that they might take. They might ignore this video entirely and pretend it hasn't happened, or they might even try to flag it up and get it removed. If that does happen, I assure you I will be re-uploading it on as many accounts as I need to before they give up and finally accept that this video is out there for people to see. With that out of the way, I look forward to seeing No Limit Designs' response, and if it's worth it, I might even respond back to what they've said. Hopefully it'll be positive. For a final point of this video, I'd like to address both No Limit Designs and the Spider-Man cosplay community. Now, No Limit Designs have come forward and they've said that we're trolls. They've said that we're bothering them and that we're like flies around them and they'll swat us out of the air. They've tried to silence us and block us, but that won't happen. We won't be silenced. We won't stand down because we are a strong community and together we can stand up to bullies like this. We are the Spider People. We won't be treated like flies. Where is he?
Where's who? I don't understand. I just buy the suits.
The guy who runs your social media accounts. Where is he?
He's in there.
After all this time, I've got you. There's no way you can run now. Hey everyone, Dead Spidey Boy here. If you made it to this point of the video, I just want to say a massive thank you to you. I know the video wasn't the highest quality, so I really appreciate you sticking around to see what I had to say. What you're seeing on screen at the moment are the names and faces of all the people who helped me out with production of this video, whether that be with editing, research, or telling me their story. Most of these people do have a story to tell about No Limit Designs, and if you want to know more about that, then maybe leave a comment or send me a message on Instagram at @DeadSpideyBoy, and I'll consider doing a longer video that details more about their stories that I couldn't put into this video. If you liked the video, give it a like, and if you want to share it with others, then please feel free. Put it on your Instagram, on your Twitter, whatever you feel like. Getting the message out is really useful to this. And once again, thank you very much.